Home Depot. Well, I'm still in the parking lot actually, but I went ahead and got me 5 cans of the Rust-Oleum spray paint version. It's the exact same thing as the gallon. I just wanted to get the smaller corners and things without using a paintbrush. Then I also got these metal drill bits so I can screw through the ceiling of the bus. I also got some more elbows. It's the same size as the other one, but maybe it'll fit better because it's a different material. The plastic was a little bit more bulgy, the PVC that I was using, so hopefully the copper will help. Then I got this big gap filler spray insulation foam just for the wheel well area, and then I'll cover it up with that green fiber that I showed you guys before. I have my plexiglass here. It's a nice big sheet. I believe it is 20, you know what, I'm not even gonna guess the measurements, but it's a big piece of glass. I believe it's like 0.226 millimeters or something of thickness, and this is going to be the material that I use for my skylight. That'll be fun. And I went ahead and got some more tape, some extra Bondo so I can fill up some more gaps in my bus, some butyl tape for my my fan insulation, and lots of sealant and other things, sanding paper for the rest of the stuff I gotta do. I also went ahead and got this 1-inch insulation. It was about $8. Not a very high R value, but we're not really worried about what it does. We just need to fill the small little gap that I have in between my 2x3s and the 1-inch insulation that I got. They don't have 1.5-inch at this Home Depot, so this is the route that I took, and I believe it's cheaper. Alrighty, I am back at the house. I got myself a little bang here so I can get some energy and get this bus done. The other day when I grabbed the ladder from Mike, he is amazing. He gave me these tomatoes from his garden and I'm so excited to use them. So it's gonna go with my lunch right now. I know, right? Crazy, I'm eating. What? And then he gave me the 8-foot step ladder, which is a lot better for me. I'm not about to just jump on a bike. I need training wheels. So I'm glad it has 4 legs instead of just the 2 to stay planted on the ground. The driveway is angled, so I didn't feel safe on the 12-footer. And it was also too tall for me to even get on top of the bus, if that makes sense. Like, as I climbed up, I couldn't maneuver around the top part because it went up too high. So anyways, we switched out the ladder. We're good now. I'm excited to use this one. This one did have a little hitchhiker on it though. A huge spider, about the size of a freaking dime, just ran away off of the ladder after we got it in the bus, of course. So then I bought some bug spray and I saw some ants around the body of the bus as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray the inside, and hopefully that will stop these critters from being attracted to my home. But today we're gonna get those, the rest of my 2x3s glued down with the liquid nails. They're amazing. Like I said, I could literally hold my entire body on there and it will not budge. So that's awesome. We're gonna liquid nail the rest of it down. We're gonna get in my inch insulation, and then we're gonna put in the 1/2 inch after that. Then we'll cut down my plywood and get these subfloors done. So excited. And then once that is over, I will continue the outside of the bus with the paint. And I just really don't want to tape it up again right now. It took such a long time. So I'm just gonna give that a break. And it's a beautiful day outside, so I don't think it's gonna rain. I have plenty of time. And yeah, we're gonna get things done, guys. Okay, so the ladder definitely gave off more than a spider. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the bus a little bit, give it a nice little sweep, maybe a little vacuum. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my little marker to label where my plywood goes. That way I can remember. The back of the bus is framed in permanently with the liquid nail. And then from this onward, that needs to be glued still. So at least I can pick them up and get a nice little sweep in here before I lay them down again. And then I did go ahead and get some bug spray. I just got the Raid and it's lavender scented. And yeah, hopefully it prevents and kills these pesky little vermin. You see that? What? Anyways, also got the ladder set up. I'm gonna try it out right now. I'm excited. So hopefully I can get on my roof. All right, so the bus has been vacuumed and swept, and then I just sprayed it with the bug spray, so it smells like lavender and poison in there. But I also tested out the ladder, see if I can get up to the roof, and it's perfect, honestly. Like, I'm glad I went with the 8-footer instead of a 6-footer. I don't think I would have made it. But yeah, still have an uneven surface to work with, so it was still a little shaky and scary. And it's also wet, and I slipped on the way down. That was awfully terrifying. So alrighty, so I'm all geared up. What I'm about to do is go through the floor and angle grind off the screws that I had left and just siliconed over. I realized that they are along the edge, which is where my subfloor framing goes. So I need to angle grind that off. That way everything lays flat against the bus. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I did this side and the other side, and I also did this front area here, just making sure that they stayed as flush as possible. I noticed that when I did the back area, it definitely wasn't flat enough because of the screws having the sealant on them and also poking up a little bit. So as you can see there, it's not sitting perfectly flush with the bus as it should, and that's going to affect the way the plywood lays on top of it. So right here, that's not even, but I've already glued these down. So what we're gonna have to do is make sure the other area that I'm actually going to be walking on a lot is super flush. So that's why I went along with the angle grinder and just made sure everything was flat. And in the back, this will be my bedroom, so it will be a permanent bed. I don't believe it's going to make too big of a difference if they're a little messed up back here. And for the most part, they are pretty even here and here, but definitely here and here we have some gap. But hopefully the foam and the plywood can lay and make it a little bit better. So yeah, now I'm going to give it another good sweep. Since I angle grinded, I got lots of yummy dust everywhere. And then we'll put the 2x3s back where they go, glue them down, and start cutting out some foam board. I think I need to keep a tally on how many times I've swept this floor. This is about the 4th or 5th time. That means I need to hurry up and put this plywood down. So I have my gun cock-locked and loaded. So now we're gonna go over those flat screws and make sure that nothing will get in them and laying them as flat as possible so I can glue the plywood, the 2x3s on top. It's a bunny. Run, bro. So cute. Okay, so the framing is back down. I just noticed that I did not get liquid nails in my Home Depot order, so that's fabulous. What we're gonna do is just leave it like this. We'll have the floating floor, no biggie. I'm gonna go ahead and get the measurements started for the foam insulation. And yeah, get this floor going. As you can see, I was struggling trying to figure out the pieces and where they went. I did write numbers on them, but that did not help whatsoever. So I had to go back to an older video and see how I had it before. I do remember I wanted to put plywood. I wanted to put 2x3s in these little spaces here as well. So I'm gonna go make those cuts and then we'll get on the foam board. Alrighty, so framing is back in the bus. I definitely forgot to order liquid nails from Home Depot, so it's just gonna have to be a floating floor. I'm okay with that. It's no big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the last 2x3s that I wanted to put here and here, and then we'll go ahead and get started on cutting out the foam insulation. Also, with that same sealant I was using on the floors, I went around and went ahead and covered up the holes that were in my wheel well and just other little holes in the walls that I could definitely just see outside. I also went around with my Rust-Oleum satin clear enamel. That way I can go ahead and mark up spots that look a little rusted. Down there was a little rusty, and down there. So whatever looked like it needed it, I sprayed it. About 40 and a half-ish, almost 42. We'll cut it off at a little under 42 inches. Okay, so here's that scrap wood that I was trying to figure out what to do with earlier. It is almost the perfect size. So it was about a little less than 42, so that's where I'm gonna cut, and we'll just take off this tiny little part right here. Yeah, like a glove. Awesome. So now I'm gonna take the rest of my little scrap pieces and see if they can fit along here. Again. You ever feel like there's a better way of doing something? There probably is. Lovely. I like this little thing. So let's pick which one we want. Reading the little side labels here, it says fine finish wood, fast and clean wood, scroll cut, reverse cut. I think the reverse cut is more for cutting like laminate floors and such that have a weird thickness to it, or weird, I don't even know what it's called. But I think we want fast and clean. I don't know. I like doing things quickly. If I can get it. Oh my god, there's like Operation. I'm like struggling so hard and it keeps falling. Ta-da! Do y'all remember Operation? That's such a good game. I need to buy that just for me. Alright, so go ahead and get my little foot here, clasp that back. I don't know if it matters which direction it goes in. Usually it doesn't, so just gonna pop her in there. That just feels too easy. Like, I don't even know. I put it in here. Now it's good. I'm like trying to feel out the motion. All right. I mean, it's not going anywhere. So let's give her a try. Well, it's cutting. But honestly, I don't think it was the blade. I think it was the amount of pressure that I was able to put on it, which wasn't a lot. So maybe next time it'll be a little bit better. But let's see what's going on here. Maybe we can push it down. Yeah. And I'm kind of liking that it's tight. That way when I put the foam insulation and stuff in there, it won't be too crazy. This would probably be something I would liquid nail down, the pieces that are cut like this, because they're a little bit more unstable. But again, we don't have liquid nails. We're just going to use what we have and move on, because I really want to get this subfloor done today. Okay, so the distance here is going to be 2 feet, another 2 feet here, which is perfect because it's a 4x8, so that should just be right over here, and then we'll cut it at 85.5 inches. Maybe a wee bit more. Like a glove. Yay! Excellent. All right, so all in all, amazing. I did go ahead and take 1/4 of an inch off the length. And those are my little scrap pieces over there. And they came off pretty nicely with 2 runs of the X-Acto knife. On this side, it fits nice and cozy. But then over here, I can't push down further. And this is already liquid glued or liquid nail glued down. So I'm going to go with my X-Acto knife and cut from here all the way over just slightly. All right, I made my cut and it fits snug. And I'm so glad I went ahead and got another piece of the 1/2 inch insulation, because as you can see, I still have a pretty big gap there and I don't want this to be moving around when I have my plywood in. So we're going to continue on with this foam board all the way down, and then we'll go ahead and get the second layer started. If you couldn't tell, that was a really weird cut. I kept forgetting my measurements. I had to go back in the bus, and then I kept measuring it wrong. Like I kept doing length and width and I kept getting it mixed up. So just be careful when you do that. This insulation isn't expensive, but you don't want to keep buying extra panels because you don't know how to measure. So keep that in mind. Okay, here's the progress we have going on here. I just have these 2 sections left. I'm going to insulate this front area and that over there. The thing is, I have another foam board left and I think I'm going to take that one back because I have plenty of scrap to fill up those places, I think. So I'm gonna see what I can do with this, and if it fits comfortably, that'd be awesome. If not, I'll go ahead and start cutting that one. Okay, so I went through, took my scraps and just filled up the little gaps there, as you can see, as tightly as I could. I don't really care about something that small. So what we're gonna do is get some insulation tape, tape up around the borders, and then we'll get the second layer on here as well. Or I might just do the second layer and then do tape. Yeah, that sounds better. Also, I can then put my plywood on this side because that's all the insulation I wanted to do over here. I don't think I'd be able to fit anything else. This is pretty flush, so this will be remaining the same, and then this will have a second layer of insulation right now. And like I said, it only took 3 panels to fill up this entire floor. Okay, the second layer of insulation is down. This was definitely a lot harder to cut and deal with. If you do have the option of having 1.5 inches of the other foam board that I had, I would highly suggest just doing the 1.5 inches. Like I said, the Home Depot near me did not have that in stock, so I had to do 2 layers. And this was just way harder to deal with. The cuts were not clean at all. It popped off like foam everywhere. It's literally all over my legs. And it's just a mess in here. So now I have to vacuum once again. But yes, this is what we've come out with. I put the reflective side down, and now we're just gonna vacuum and then put my plywood measurements in.